It's back. It's British. It's touring. It's big. It's the British touring cars. What an intro. Thanks to Tom for that. I'm joined once again by Tom and Nick. How'd you like that?
Oh, brilliant.
GB News special.
GB News special, yeah, brilliant. Loved it. You know, I'm also available if anyone wants to hire me for script writing.
Yeah.
Hit me up.
Yeah. We were prepared for this podcast, but that was such a good intro. I had to bear in mind.
That's what it says,
God.
isn't it?
Yeah.
That's what it's saying in the tin. British Touring Cars back this week after a 5-week hiatus after round 1, and we're at Snetterton. I think all our favourite tracks, is that right?
Well, it's my favourite track in Norfolk.
Is it the only track in Norfolk?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know my English geography, so you can say any county and I don't know what it is, to be honest.
It's relatively near to me, actually, that one.
Is it?
I've never actually been to Snetterton, but...
I've been there.
Have you? Oh, yeah.
Long time ago, though. I was there with my parents. It was when Cleland and Jeff Allen were testing their Vauxhall whatevers.
Dear God, 1973?
Something like that, yeah.
Nah, that would have been...
Mid-90s, I think.
90s. Yeah. Jeff Allen's last full-time drive was 94.
Right, so yeah.
But he still did the odd round to fill in for an injured James Thompson in 95. So it could have been around that era.
It's around that time. Johnny Herbert was actually there as well, testing the F1 Lotus at the same time, on track at the same time as the other cars.
Ooh.
Well, that seems safe.
Yeah, there was a Citroen 2CV and a few other things.
Oh, if an F1 car got a 2CV, it would just be dust.
Yeah.
Health and
That's
safety, not
Snetterton for
a... Yeah.
Yeah.
Not a strong point.
It's not a track I particularly look forward to be honest. It's a funny layout for the touring cars, but there's as we said off camera, there's been a couple of good races in the past few years.
Yeah, well, this is the 300 layout, right, Nick?
Yes. Is it the 100 was the old one, I think?
Yeah, 100 or 200. 200. 100 is
Yes.
the inner one, I think.
Oh, yes, it is. Isn't
That you
it?
never
Yeah,
see.
200.
Yeah. But it was never loved. Honestly, I don't think it was ever loved in the old layout. But now it's like a rose-tinted spectacles thing.
Yeah.
I always remember John Cullen saying something disparaging about this layout. Oh, bloody hell. Got to go to Norfolk in winter to test. Well, probably because that's when you were there. And so now people prefer the old one. But that still wasn't an amazing layout either.
I think it's a good track to drive, just not a great track to spectator.
Right, fair enough.
It's probably the worst for racing on the calendar, but I wouldn't go as far to say it's a bad track. It's one of those ones.
Yeah. True, it's only bad in the context of others.
Mm-hmm.
It's no Paul Ricard, but
I mean, it's flat as Paul Ricard. Oh no, it's actually got the bomb hole, right?
Yeah,
So
you got the bomb hole.
don't forget the bomb hole.
what a corner name.
Yeah.
It's up there with the way Aquaman Mirror Alley and
Yeah, we'd have to translate these corners this time.
No.
We spoke, I think, a couple of times about the really only bit of news between races was that Andy Neat is out. Jess Hawkins, name right there, is in, and Senna Proctor's got the drive for the rest of the year in the BTCC Honda.
Which I think we all said is good news.
Yeah.
But jumping ahead a bit, pretty anonymous weekend. Considering he didn't have ballast going to qualifying, but then on the flip side, he's not driven. Oh, did he? Because yes, you're right.
New entry, you get. I think it's 30 kilos. I think it might be more.
Oh, good one. And he'd not driven the car, right?
Yeah.
So I take it all back.
Yeah, Camish wouldn't have had the extra ballast because
Round
it
one.
was still before the season, so it wasn't classed as a new entry.
Clever. Good sleuth in there with the rules.
Yeah, but you an FIA steward in a previous life.
Or actually, no, was it? Or did he have to carry Camish's ballast? Thinking about it.
Oh man, you sounded so good, and now we're not confused.
Yeah, no, I just remembered that the commentary team said it was the car, not the driver, that the ballast was assigned to. So it would have been Camish's. So it's actually more than 30 because he was 4th or 5th in the championship, I think.
He was up there. Finished on the podium, didn't he? 3-point scores. So, that's interesting. Damn, I didn't pick up on that. But it makes sense, because otherwise, wouldn't you just switch a driver to get rid of ballast if you just wanted to go for teams points? Yeah.
Did you see the interview with Jess Hawkins pre-races?
No.
She actually made me feel sorry for Andy Neate.
Oh, interesting.
Talk us through it.
Well, she was saying about how he wasn't there because of and I believe they called it hate that he's received on social media after the last race. And I don't know the ins and outs because I don't follow him, and to be fair, I don't do much social media, but apparently it was really bad, the abuse that he got.
I can imagine.
And I think Paul O'Neill was defending him as well, saying that no one, regardless of anything, deserves the kind of hate that he got.
Oof.
He was trending on Twitter, which for a British touring car race is pretty impressive.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I saw him trending on Twitter before I saw the race, and I just went, "Oh no." So I don't know how much was sent at him or was just in the ether.
Dear.
But
yeah,
I mean,
apparently it was really bad abuse, but I haven't seen it, so I can't comment too much. But
yeah, that's not cool.
The other thing that came up was, I believe Paul O'Neill said this as well, that he apparently has reached out to the other two drivers/teams involved in that accident to help pay for the damages.
Wow,
that's good.
Wow.
How much of it, I don't know.
Even the offer's quite cool.
Yeah.
I've often thought if I was really rich and racing and doing badly, I would do something similar.
Mm-hmm.
So are we taking Andy Neate off the shortlist for biggest shithouse of the year after that?
Oh yeah, are we part of the problem?
We are part of the problem.
Yeah.
We have criticised him for almost killing 2 people. To
That's
be fair, there is valid criticism and there is abuse, and like I say, I don't know what was sent to him, but you can't shy away from criticism if it was abuse. So then there's a line, and it sounds like it's been crossed there.
Oh.
Yeah, but he should be back for the next round, apparently.
Right.
I'm still not convinced of that, but
well, I thought she did really well.
Yeah, I thought she did very well actually.
Yeah.
She was only a 10th off of
Osborne.
Who's her teammate? Sam Osborne, in quali, which I thought was brilliant.
Yeah, I wrote down here for race 1 that even in P20 was a really good result when she was driving around at that point. I can't remember where she finished, but you've got to think that that's ahead of 9 cars.
Yeah.
So fair play on that one. Anyway, the main thing here is, Colin, did you watch Gogglebox? I've not watched it yet.
Which one?
Is he Paul O'Neill in multiple?
I don't know. There's nothing saved in my Virgin TV planner, so I'm not sure what's been recently. It was on a celebrity version about 3 or 4 weeks ago.
Was it?
With his sister Mel B?
You can do it.
No, dear. Mel C.
Mel C. Which one's Mel B?
That's the one who had a child with Eddie Murphy.
Yeah, that does not narrow it down for me. To be honest.
I didn't
Frizzy
know
hair.
that was a thing either.
Is it scary?
Well, hang on a minute. Now I'm down.
Scary.
Yeah, okay, right, okay.
Now I'm doubting it.
Mel C was sporty.
Unconfirmed reports.
Yeah. So Mel C was sporty. Okay, yeah, it was Mel C that he was on with. And yeah, not bad. They just had him on as Mel C's brother. Doesn't say he was a racing driver or anything. So.
But it was on they were both on the One show to promote it as well, I think.
Were they?
One, yeah.
Yeah, that's not a program I can watch.
No,
I don't watch it either.
Like that little bit that he just sang just raised a lot of anger in me. I hate
Like,
that.
where's the remote? Quick! It's like
Yeah.
when you hear the Archers theme tune.
Oh, that's a very middle class thing.
I
To say, Tom.
was just gonna say.
I don't think we get that here. Is that on TalkSport?
No. Do you know what? I don't. Oh, but I only came up because I was in the Silverstone Cafe the other day buying a cheeky chocolate bar. That shouldn't be doing. And it came on the radio, and the person serving was like, "Oh, hang on a minute. Sorry, I just need to change this over." Anyway, I digress. British touring cars.
British Touring Cars,
Yeah.
qualifying result. Gordon Shane took pole and then very quickly lost it. He was disqualified because his rear wing was 1 degree out of where it should be, and they are blaming that the mechanic turned it the wrong way.
Mm-hmm.
Which, fair enough, probably did happen.
Yeah.
I think there was some people accusing him of cheating over the weekend, but 1 degree sounds like a mistake, to be honest. I don't know how
Sheldon
much that
said
gains you.
It was the wrong way as well, so it would have cost him, if anything. But
Yeah.
it
Ah,
would have
really?
been negligible, if that's true.
Well, he qualified 3 tenths quicker than anyone else?
There were some big gaps actually in this.
There was huge gaps. Very surprising. It's a long track, I suppose.
Yeah,
Um,
but they took it on the chin. They didn't try and say.
yeah, I think
They
Matt Neal.
said it's a mistake. We have to live with it.
I think they tweeted rules or rules or something like this.
Yeah.
I remember Ingram once had something. I couldn't tell you when in a similar scenario. I mean, it's a fairly fundamental rule. It's there for a reason. Because if you don't have any regulations on that, you might as well run without a wing on tracks where they're fast in a straight line. Like here is a track where it would affect more than most because it has. Yes, Thruxton is quick, but here is one long straight line.
Yeah.
So if you reduce the drag all the way down, it's going to be a big gain. Sorry, and Shedden was 1.5 tenths quicker, to clarify. But then there were gaps were really big behind.
Yep, so Colin Turnerton headed pole, and then it's 3 tenths back to Ingram.
Yeah.
For the 10 back to Offit, and then another 2 tenths back to Butcher, so there was quite a gap. Top 10 was a second apart.
Yeah. I may be wondering part of the reason the gaps were so big is because at Snetterton we have this top 10 shootout.
Oh yes, of course.
So you have less, like during the first 30 minutes, or actually I don't know if it's 30 minutes for the shootout, but the longer amount of time, you can set like more laps, and because everyone's doing that, they tends to narrow the gap, I think. I could be talking rubbish there, but certainly in the top 10 showdown, there's more chance of errors because you've got less opportunity to do a quick lap. But I still think that if you're going to do a top 10 showdown, you do it, each person gets 1 lap. Other sports do that, in the past, World Touring Cars have done something like that. Australian supercars do it at certain races. That's much more exciting than another 10-minute session.
Yeah.
I would tune in for that because then you make a mistake, you're out.
I forgot to watch it when it was on, and I thought, I would watch it if there was some way that you could actually catch up with it.
Right.
But I don't think there is.
So normally there isn't until
The highlights program, I think.
Yeah, or they add it to the website, ITV website. Sometimes they started last year, or the year before, maybe. You can actually catch up. But for the first round, you could catch qualifying because they randomly showed it live on ITV2, so it was on ITV Hub. But I didn't check to see if that was the case for this round. So if anyone's listening and desperately wants to watch qualifying, even though you know results, then check ITV Hub.
Yep, and I Sutton had a an engine issue during qualifying, so I had to get a new engine for the race. And Gungedi didn't take part because he had a fuel pump issue, I believe. So he missed out entirely and was last. And Shedden was demoted to second last.
Yes, because I did wonder, hang on a minute, I thought Shedden's supposed to be last, but Glengedi's there. But yeah, of course, he didn't take part in qualifying. And still fair play because that car was destroyed. Let's not cover that again.
Just
well
the fuel
done.
pump to go wrong is actually quite a result in a way.
Yeah, well done because I've had to spend all this money and the rush to get 4 cars ready, Team Hard that is, with his Cooper Leons. And then one was wrecked at round 1. Now, maybe if you're organised and stuff, you might have that in mind that could happen. But because it's an all new car, part supply might be tight and all this sort of thing, so it's good to see him out.
Yeah, I think Stephen Jelly also did very well. I believe
Yeah.
fourth.
Yeah, he was 6th in the first round of qualifying and 4th in the second. And he did say before in a quote, I did read a quote with him going into the round where he said, "If I just do what we did in testing, I know I'm going to be up there." In testing, you can obviously have Oliphant and Turkington as a yardstick. Now, doing it in actuality is different because you've got pressures, right?
Yeah.
Pressures on. But I suppose he was relatively light going into the meeting as well, so he did very well to be, well, the first of the sort of non-consistent top 5 finishers. That's not
Well,
even a thing.
Non-championship contenders, I would possibly say.
Yeah, because Butcher was a championship contender last year to a point, wasn't
Yeah.
he? But then Adam Morgan just behind him, that was good
Mm-hmm.
as well. Really good
Plus,
for the car
Jake
gods.
Hill to get in the top 10 with Max Ballast, I thought was brilliant as well.
Yeah, star of qualifying there. That's a
Mm-hmm.
good point. Because 75 kilos around here must hurt.
Yeah.
And this year it's the higher amount of ballast, right, than last year.
Mm-hmm.
Bravo. Dan Lloyd in the top 10 as well.
Yeah.
Getting used to the car, getting used to the rules again. Doing alright.
Okay, we'll jump into race 1, which Tuckerton and Ingram got good starts and had a real good fight the first lap. Ingram got side by side with Tuckerton a few times, and Colin actually got his elbows out and pushed him wide 2 or 3 times really during the lap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
I
good
thought-
to see.
Yeah, I thought Ingram was... it's the age-old thing that's been in touring cars for a while, right? First 2 laps you've got to get past the rear-wheel drive car.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's when they're vulnerable. And then towards the end of the race, they should have better tyres that have lasted longer, so it swings around about.
Mm.
So it felt, obviously, Ingram's been around, he knows that. He's tried to go around Agostini. He tried to get the cutback, but I feel like Turkington blocked the cutback by just sort of parking on the apex, and I thought, oh, that's so clever.
Yeah.
And it was without contact, it was just like perfect car placement. It was just sort of on 3/4 of the way through the corner, it was just sort of, didn't go anywhere. And, Ingram has to lift for half a second and then his run's gone.
Mm-hmm.
So,
And that's it for the top 2 really. The rest of the race.
yeah.
I think Ingram came back at him towards the end of the race, but apart from that, it was pretty steady gap between them.
Yeah, there was it like halfway through the race, Ingram set a fastest lap. And I was like, ooh, and the commentators were like, well, this could be it, he's coming back. Oh no, the next lap, Turkington pulled out a second. So that was that.
Yeah, that was that. Elsewhere at the start, Butcher had a terrible start, but managed to keep Jelly behind for third. Yeah. And I thought Ollie Jackson had a really good start. He got up to 4th before Adam Morgan sneaked past him.
Yeah, so Jackson did an amazing job because he got past Morgan around the outside of the exit of turn 1, Riches, and then Jelly around the outside of Wilson, is it? The hairpin?
Yep.
So he'd gone up 2 positions. Both cars were rear-wheel drive as well, so take that, certain driver who moans about rear-wheel drives. Although, of course, he didn't do it on the start line, but he still at least had a run to get in that position. So, top job from Ollie Jackson at the start.
Yeah, Ollie was kind of in the mix all the way through the weekend.
Yeah, really good.
He was always involved in something. Elsewhere, there was a moment between Rowbottom and Smiley, which allowed Sutton to get past them both as he was trying to recover from a pretty rubbish qualifying.
Yep.
There wasn't the usual Sutton charge. He made a couple of places, but he just seemed stuck in race 1, which was really unlike him.
I think an element's got to be the ballast that he had on board. It
Yeah.
wasn't maximum ballast, was it? But it still had some weight.
Yeah, I think it was 3rd
Yeah.
place ballast, I believe.
And we look at how poor Cook and Plato were in qualifying and the race. And they were obviously Cook's on... They were on similar ballast. Obviously, Jake Hill's done an amazing job with max ballast.
Yeah.
Better than all of them. But on similar weights to Sutton were Plato and Cook, and they were miles behind. So it's still solid from Sutton.
Yeah.
Race 1 puzzles me a bit more once you see race 3 with Sutton when he had Max. Max from race weight on. It's just a bit strange that he didn't even make much more progress.
I suppose that's a good point. Where did he finish in the end? P11?
He finished
P10.
in P11. Yep.
Was it? How did he lose a place later on? Oh yes, he did, didn't he? That was it.
Yeah, I think he lost out to Smiley in the end, but he got up to 11th. Shedden was on a charge from the back though. he had a really good race one. He was up
To a
10
point.
places by lap 5. And he had a moment with Moffat, I think at some point of going into the S's. Was that this race?
It is.
Where he almost spins Moffat round and somehow both of them managed to save it. Well, Aiden managed to save it.
I don't know how Moffat saved that. It was a perfect tap for a spin on a rear-wheel drive car.
Yeah.
You know, he's not going to overtake there. I don't really know what Shedden's trying to do. Maybe a bit of over eagerness from your fellow Scott there, Colin.
Two of my fellow Scots.
Oh
in
yeah,
that
true.
fight.
Scott and Scott,
Yeah, it was a Scott and Scott fight.
but well held by Moffat, who kind of impressed me most of the weekend. To be fair,
Yeah, it was very
He was
racy.
racy. Yeah.
Yeah.
For the full weekend. But yeah, I think you're right. I think Shedden was just desperate to get up the order because they had a disastrous round 1, 2, and 3 at Thruxton.
I think if you qualify the quickest, even though you're disqualified, you have a mentality of right. I can go through this field like what does David Addison say? A stabbed rat or a knife through butter? Any other analogies are welcome.
A stabbed rat. Doesn't that kill the rat?
Well, if you just stab
stab a
its tail.
rat-
Oh, that's a good point. I think that's what he says.
If you stab a rat, surely it's stuck and dead. Maybe he means like nick a rat or kick a rat or.
If anyone's wrong, it's going to be me.
No,
So,
no, but the phrase is stabbed rat, but I don't get it.
It makes no sense.
It's not what I get.
Yeah, that's a good point. It'd have to be like nicked, like you just nick it
Yeah.
or kicked. Anyway,
Leave me out of it.
Yeah.
let's not talk about animal cruelty. We've already talked about and cruelty.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, this is a nice, kind podcast for everyone.
Unless your name is David Croft.
Oh, God. Are we going to get cited for abusing David Croft now? Jeez. We love you, David, and Ted.
Yeah.
We've been probably kinder to Ted than we should be, to be honest. So I don't think we've been too bad. But we ended up with a butcher train in this one, as everyone just kind of got stuck behind him.
But
a
he did
while.
well to hold off.
He did. Jake Hill, I think, was just behind him. At one point, Oliphant got past, and Sutton tried to come around the outside
Yeah.
as well, and Hill got his elbows
Yeah.
out and kept that
Yeah,
place.
none of it.
Which is good considering the weight he had on board.
Yeah,
And-
I think it's important to fight back against Sutton because most people
Yeah.
just give up.
Yeah.
I agree. And it didn't quite have an overlap, and I feel like he just sort of made an overlap. A little bit of, and that was perfect. That's how you do it. Yeah, you can't just lie down with Sutton, especially if Hill's in the championship fight this year. If he does lie down for him, then that's a mental thing going into the final round where Sutton goes, well, I'm going to overtake over him, no problem.
He had the max weight on. He also had the hard tyre, which for that particular race
Wow.
was definitely the worst tyre to be on.
Wow.
So yeah, he did really well, I think.
It was important because Sutton ended up losing a couple of places out of that, and Hill
yeah.
finished, I think, 4 or 5 places above him.
Yeah, I do think Sutton could have made more progress if that battle hadn't happened.
Hmm.
I think that was sort of dulled his attack a bit.
A bit of a train formed behind Butcher, and then ended up he pulling a bit of a gap on Hill.
Yeah, I think it was down to P18 in Moffat at this point, around lap 7. And I thought, oh, things are going to kick off here. But then Butcher managed to sort of manage the situation a bit.
Well, he did have the issue with the gear changes.
Right. Is that what
Yeah,
you think
where he-
initially backed him up a bit?
Yeah, because you can't change up without coming off the throttle. That's going to cost you speed down the straights, and especially the exit out corners as well.
Right, yeah. Yeah, not
So, yeah, That's
ideal.
going to hold you up.
So he's going to have to lift the throttle each time he changes up. And probably have to get used to that. So for a few laps, you have to change your driving style. Also, around this time, Josh Cook indicated a pulled over for Shedden. Both were really struggling back at the pack. On the edge, the fringes of the points. Along with Plato, he was around there at that point, not really doing anything. So I wonder if Cook let Shedden pass to think, oh, I could follow him through, but then he didn't really do anything anyway. So Shedden finished 15th, Cook 16th. So in the end, Cook lost a point because they didn't make any progress.
What about Honda tactics there?
I did think that.
Down the pit lane.
I did think that. Yeah. Although, of course, this year, BTC Racing is using the Swindon power plant as opposed to the Honda. Although the Honda engine comes from Neil Brown, not Team Dynamics. So all the body panels and the chassis is from Team Dynamics, I understand. So yeah, there's a relationship there, isn't there?
I do think it's more what you said there. It's, if I let him through, he might make some places up, and I can benefit from it.
I think that's
didn't pan out.
Yeah. Also, what was going on at this point? Oh well, Morgan was having fun. He was going up and down like a yo-yo. I felt for a bit.
Yeah.
He was doing well initially, but then fell back down off camera. But then did make a good overtake on Dan Lloyd to get back up a few positions towards the end.
Oh yeah, that was when Lloyd was trying to get past Ollie Jackson, wasn't it?
I think so. Yeah.
He was all over the track. He was taking every single line to try and find a way past, and ends up compromising himself.
Yeah, unfortunate, but he definitely. That's where, if you're not in the BTCC for a bit, sort of the race rust sort of element cuts in, because all these drivers who are on it will just take any gap.
That's very true. And also, Shedden only got P15, didn't he, because of Tom Chilton. Spinning.
Bit of a
question mark.
bit of a weird one. My theory is Shedden turned him. What do you think, Colin?
I think so as well.
Yeah. What do you think, Colin?
Well, from what you see on TV, it looks like he always is it on his own, but as we've said, it's a strange pace to lose it on your own.
Because Shedden's in a move with someone else at the same time, right? He's trying to outbrake someone or defend.
Presumably further back. That would be Cook.
Yeah, maybe it was Cook. I can't remember who it was at the time. And it's like a Shedden late lunge sort of scenario, and he just taps the back of Chilton in my eyes. But you're right, you can't get a clear angle of it, so you have to give the benefit of the doubt. But then Chilton rejoined like a gill, is what we call. Like a gill.
Famous gill rejoin.
Which is just go and look straight ahead, and it'll all be fine.
Yes, and unfortunately takes out Jess Hawkins, wasn't it?
Yeah, Jess Hawkins.
Yeah. So she was having a fairly decent race after qualifying 17th.
Superb. I was very impressed. To be close to a teammate, like we said already, but then I think she was around P20 at some point. In the end, I think she finished 23rd, but the replay sort of cut off, so you couldn't see her then rejoining to see if she lost positions and stuff. Yeah. But I'm assuming going out wide and on the grass doesn't help.
No, it probably hurts.
Because in the end, she finished a couple of places behind Chilton. So clearly she's had to get the grass on the tyres, run offline, try and rejoin. So not ideal.
Tom Chilton still confuses me.
Yeah.
It's weird, right?
Yeah. He's nowhere, and I don't know why. I just expect him to be further up. I just expect him to be somewhere closer to the front, and he just doesn't seem to be the past 2 years.
He's been missing in action for a while. Since that second season in the Shredded Wheat Ford.
Yeah.
And I've forgotten where he drove after that. Was it a Honda? BTC Racing?
BTC.
And then now the BMWs.
It's just the last 2 years. I know we're only into this one just about now, but it's that he hasn't been close to his teammate.
And this was the first round where Morgan decided to get ahead a bit. At Thruxton, they were kind of close, I felt. They were both like up and down because they're getting used to it. For me, Adam Morgan took a step forward in terms of pace over Chilton this weekend. Although Chilton was 12th in qualifying, it's not too bad. And then he's had a fairly average race and been taken out. But he didn't go forward, was he? He was falling backwards in positions. So, I don't know. It's cool that he's there, and he clearly can do it. He can win races, he can get podiums. He finished third in the championship when he drove the first year in the Shredded Wheat. He finished third in the World Touring Cars when he was in the Citroen. So, I don't know if it's just switching teams too often, not having the right engineers, not the right motivation. I don't know, a million things, isn't it? His driving style doesn't suit these setups. Interestingly, he's doing the pure ETCR for Hyundai this year, which is a new electric touring car championship as well. there's drivers like Matthias Ekstrom, Augusto Farfus, Jean Calvinet, Georgia Denay. They're in there. It's a very talented grid. I'll be watching to see how he progresses in that as well. Maybe that affects. Maybe he decides to do that route instead of British Touring Cars for next year, depending on how well he does. One to watch.
Indeed.
So, race 1, Turkington wins from Ingram, Butcher on the podium. Other names to pick out, Jake Hill managed to hold on to 9th, while Ash Sutton was 11th, and Sheridan managed to get himself a point in 15th.
Whoop, whoop.
So at least he got something out of the race
Yeah.
after pretty disastrous qualifying. Just looking a bit further down, Sam Smelt was last, quite a long way back, but I don't know if he had a problem.
He's not quick enough anyway, regardless of having a problem.
Yeah, he was 58 seconds behind the leader. We were a bit unsure of why he got that drive, but yeah, as I say, I don't know if he had an issue.
I mean,
And
he was
Stevie-
23rd in qualifying, and his teammate was 4th.
Yeah.
You've got to give him time, but if he's like that towards the end of the season, it's a bit unfortunate. I think.
Yep. And Gordon Geddy got up to 27th, and Jason Plato was 17th.
No points, no points. Although he might
Yeah.
get independent points, I suppose.
Probably.
Yeah, didn't really do much after pretty rubbish qualifying. I think he only made up one place.
I thought though, right, race 1, get it out of your system, get the weight
then
off, progress. But as we'll talk about race 2 now, he didn't.
He did not. Race 2, same finish result as race 1. Turkington pretty aggressively defended from Ingram out of turn 1, put him on the grass.
Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah, a very un-Turkington-like manoeuvre.
That was
in some
a
ways.
sharp intake of breath.
Yeah, which allowed Ollie Jackson to get through up in his second.
Mm-hmm.
But it's, I suppose it's early in the season, but normally you just don't expect Turkington to go that hard on a defence.
Yeah, true. But it defends in a kind of acceptable, classy way. I don't know how you managed that. It's like he didn't make contact.
No.
It was optional. You know,
Yeah.
Ingram could have backed out of it. It was his choice to go on the grass. That's how Turkington does it. It's savvy.
Mm-hmm.
And good for Jackson to get up there.
Yeah, like I say, he was involved all the way through. Sutton starts taking places right from the start.
Yeah.
So whatever was wrong in race 1, if it was the weight or the tyres or whatever, or the one didn't have quite the engine set up right.
Yeah.
Race 2, totally changed. He starts to charge. At the back, Glenn Geddy is hit by, appears to be Rick Parfitt. Parfitt and, was it Edwards, were side by side?
Yeah.
Going into the corner, and it wasn't totally clear who made contact. It looked like in slow motion it was Parfitt, which puts Geddy round, and Parfitt is stuck as he is trying to recover.
Yeah, it must have been Rick Parfitt because he got an official reprimand and I believe 2 penalty points on his licence.
Ouch.
Pretty much spoiled both their races.
Yeah. This is where Chilton retires with front damage, but we don't know why.
No.
Yeah.
Totally smashed front end, bonnet bent, and there's no mention, no replay, and you don't see anyone else with
like a
big
rear falling
dented
off.
rear end or anything like that.
No.
But so I don't know what he's hit.
Could be barriers.
He's hit something. He just don't know what.
Yeah, not ideal. And there was a 10-second penalty for Moffat for being out of position at the on the starting grid. But rejoice, it said it on the screen. It said in red, 10-second penalty for Moffat, and then the leaderboard at the left didn't have him like going up and down all the time.
Yes.
Blah
So
blah blah
pleased
blah.
about that.
So they've listened to our Thruxton episode, I'm sure.
Yes, but they got the penalty wrong.
Oh,
It was only 5 seconds.
right.
So race control initially got it wrong. So all the graphics were wrong, and the TV announcement was wrong. And it was only like at, I think, pretty much the last lap they realised that, oh no, it's only 5 seconds. So
So
Take back all your praise that
Yeah.
you've just given them, Tom.
The penalty
Turns out-
shambles continues.
They still screwed it up. But you're right, at least they got the graphics sorted.
I thought the graphics were actually better in general this weekend.
Yeah. It's like they switched them on this week.
Yeah, it's still a little bit slow to update, but they seem to work a bit better.
Sometimes, occasionally, would tell you what tyres people were on.
Yeah, but only sometimes.
But only
Which is
sometimes.
annoying.
I feel like it needs to be permanently on there all the time
Yeah.
now, just because
That's-
there's such a disparity between the two.
Yeah, that's something I'm just not paying attention to when I'm watching these races.
Shall we dip into that? Because I've got a rant.
Go for it, because
I just don't like him.
I'm just ignoring it because I don't like it, and they don't make it clear enough to follow
Right.
during the race.
Mhm.
I'm going to ask you a question, Colin.
Hmm.
Did you, at Thruxton round 1, did you miss the change of tyre compounds?
No?
No. Nick, did you miss the fact that they couldn't only choose one compound and not two compounds at Thruxton?
Not at all.
So,
I'd forgotten
they've-
it was a thingy until this race started.
yeah, so it's not needed. If
No.
the racing's good without it, why have we got this? Because whenever then, you can almost work it out then. I understand with ballast, people argue it's contrived, and because it is. But having another layer on top of it is too much. So I don't mind having two different tyre compounds to use in a race when there's pit stops involved. That works for Formula 1. When it's a 10-lap race, or a 20, 30, 40-minute race, as British touring cars are, and there's no pit stops, and you've got to do this whole use the medium tyre once across 3 races, what happens is you go, okay, this driver's within the top 15, and they've got no ballast and soft tyres. Therefore, they're going to finish in the top 5.
Mhm.
But also, part of me thinks when you add that in, a driver, let's say in this race, Sutton, who's light and has a soft tyre on, and some drivers at the front have success ballast on. Yes, it's an amazing drive, but as I'm watching it, it takes away from the skill, because it's amazing and skillful to do all these overtakes. But you're just always thinking, yeah, but he's got no weight and he's on the soft tyre.
Mhm.
So it's a bit hypocritical of a British touring car fan to say it's all a bit fake. I understand that. It's just a bit too far. It's like DRS is too effective in F1. We had a season without it last year. No one
Yeah.
was saying, "Oh my God, please can we have the tyre compound switching back?"
No,
Well-
it's an extra penalty on the drivers that they don't need, really.
No,
And you're right. I mean, all the commentators talk about is tyres.
yeah.
Mhm.
All we're
And-
talking about is tyres, not overtaking or setups or
That's what you get in Formula One. You get talking about tyres and strategy, and he's graining these tyres, and
Yeah.
don't want that in touring cars.
the British touring cars is good enough racing not to need it.
No, but a great season last year.
Yeah.
I don't think. I think we're in agreement in that this isn't needed.
But it's not every race. In our season preview, we said which ones it was in. I can't remember.
Yep. Don't mean either, but it definitely was only 3 or 4, I think.
So if this is a test to try it out again, I'm saying no, thanks.
Mhm.
In a really Yorkshire way, no.
No. You should start a petition.
Yeah.
Change.org, or what's the one that they have to debate in Parliament? I'm sure we'll get 10,000 signatures for this.
No different tyre compounds in British touring cars,
Yeah.
please.
No,
Would you prefer to have no changes at all, or would you prefer to have, say, one sprint race and one feature race where you have to change tyres?
Oh, now a longer race at some point
Yeah.
would be good, and changing tyres is fine.
Yeah.
Big Silverstone.
Oh,
Do it
yeah.
at some point.
Big Silverstone,
with
one
pit
mandatory pit
stops.
stop. Yeah.
Yes.
The thing with that is it's a cost thing, isn't it? I think that's why
It
they
is.
does it.
And they're not set up for quick pit stops. Like
Yeah,
they were
yeah.
back in
The
Super
2000s and 90s.
Yeah, but if it takes 2 minutes, everyone takes 2 minutes, so it's fine.
Touring. True.
True.
It's not great telly though at that point. If
No,
They've
I
got-
suppose not.
Is it individual wheel studs or is it a centre lock now? I don't
I
know.
think there's individual ones.
Yeah. Now you can still do quick pit stops with individual because
Mm.
that's what NASCAR does. And Scandinavian
Mhm.
touring cars used to do it as well. They've got these crazy guns that make this amazing noise. It's like, woo, 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 woo. It's like that's 4. There you go.
Do you want to do that again?
No.
Is it the inverse sound when you're putting it back on? Try and do that.
No. Yeah, so it's possible, but it means buying new equipment and stuff. But also in British touring cars, they don't actually have the. It's 20. What is it? 28, 29 cars. 29 cars on the grid.
Yeah, that's the point.
So they have to drive in face first to the pits, right? They can't be lengthways, and that means they have to be pushed backwards out.
Yeah.
If you're doing that with
That's
30
not
cars,
safe,
it's
is it?
dangerous. Yeah, it's dangerous. I watched a
That's a
video
good
of a big brick car crash in the pit lane recently, where I think everyone's queuing for qualifying, and everyone's like, all the mechanics are pushing the cars out, and someone has a crash in the pit lane, and then he runs everybody over. It would be like that.
It's not ideal.
No.
Oh.
Anyway, race
So
2.
you're so you're saying there's a chance it might happen?
Yeah.
Yeah. Race 2. Race 2, what happened?
Well, Robo got. Oh man, I said it. My own
Just
rule.
say-
I've fallen on my own sword. What happened to him, Nick or Colin?
He gets punted off by Proctor, we
that
think.
was the- Yes.
I thought watching on TV it was Gordon Shedden that got punted off, but I have been corrected.
Mhm.
The
It
commentators
was-
got it wrong, unfortunately, but it was impossible to work out because it was 2 BTC cars and 2 Halfords cars.
Yeah, so it could have been Cook and Shedden, or it could have been Proctor and Rowbottom. But
And you couldn't tell the race number because it's not in HD.
do you not have ITV4 HD either?
No, it's only on like pay subscription packages, right? I think.
Oh, I've got it.
I
On Freeview?
used, yeah.
No.
Oh,
No, I've got Sky.
yeah.
That's where
I think that's the only time you can get it. Or maybe
Yeah.
it's changed recently.
I used to have it on my old Virgin package, and then I downgraded, and I don't
Right.
get it HD anymore. So you're right, it's complete
Ah.
potato quality.
It is the worst quality. It's so bad.
Yeah, you literally can't see the numbers and names on the cars anymore. It's
No,
just
you can't.
awful for trying to tell
Yeah.
them apart.
I mean, paying extra for HD in 2020 is a story
Yeah.
for another time.
yeah,
Yeah,
that's a rant in itself.
yeah. Sutton managed to get past Jelly and Butcher in the space of 3 corners,
Yeah,
and then did a really nice move on Ingram, which I thought he set up quite well through a couple of different corners.
It was at this point I thought, oh, I'm going to win it. Is he going to win it? But I
Yeah.
still thought Turkington was too far ahead.
yeah, I did initially.
I thought, oh, P2, here we go.
Want to mention a nice move by Hawkins on Edwards through the S's. She was on the outside for the first part and managed to get up the inside for the second. Although they showed it with a weird camera angle. Like they showed it from like the side camera angle rather than the one that they used for
Yeah.
every other shot of that corner.
Yeah,
They used that angle for another one later on with Jake Hill. And I was a bit like, can I have a replay of the normal view, please?
Yes,
Yeah.
you can see totally what happened, but I thought that was a nice move, and
You
at
don't
least
get-
they showed the guys at the back on TV.
Yeah, true.
true.
Certain I've got down here that, yeah, we were watching Cook a lot sometimes because I think he had an onboard camera, but he was just not doing anything.
Mhm.
And by lap 6, Sutton was on the grass he went round on the grass. Was it around Ingram?
Yes, I think it was.
I don't know what corner that was, but oh yeah, it was on the exit of the hairpin, wasn't it? It was basically
It was.
It was kind of 4 wheels off the track was what I'm aiming at. There's a debate.
I'm not
there.
sure. I quite liked what he did because it looked like Ingram was expecting him to try to undercut him, so he just let the car run out instead of going for the inside.
Yeah, but
Wow.
at least 2 wheels were on the grass in that move, and it was pretty sneaky.
Yeah,
He always comes out with. Earlier I was saying, it feels kind of cheap when, he's got no weight and soft tyres. But to contradict that slightly, he does pull off the amazing move that you don't think.
yeah.
And I don't know
the
how
other
he
thing-
how he works that out.
Is that in that race, Jake Hill was also on soft tyres.
Yeah, but disaster, right?
Yeah.
Complete opposite. Oh yeah, it's a fair point. My theory's been completely blown up by Jake Hill. Thanks. Because he had less weight and soft tyres and disappeared.
But
Yeah.
front wheel drive, rear wheel drive. So
Yeah, but I would say he did have contact, and I'm wondering if that knocked the alignment out, which meant the tyre wear was worse. How about that
yeah,
for a theory?
'cause he finished
Nowhere.
right down in 20 something.
Yeah,
And he said that his tyres were the wire in the tyres was actually coming through, and you could hear it hitting the inside
Yeah.
of the wheel arch.
I can't remember who he had contact with and went off.
Moffat.
Yeah.
Contact into the S's, which is I think called Brundle, and
Yeah, it is, yeah.
I can't remember what the second part's called.
Nelson.
Yep.
So Aiden and him kind of tangled. Hill went wide. I think 2 other cars went through as well.
Yeah.
And Moffat managed to come out in front of the train and all that.
Oh, now Moffat did something I'd never seen before, which was, I think it was there's that kerfuffle at Nelson. Kerfuffle? Kerfuffle.
Skirmash.
It's good.
What was the one that got Jeremy Clarkson sacked? Was it a fracas?
Fracas, yeah.
That was it.
Fracas.
I don't know why that word came out as like the one that we're going to use. Because then every other journalist copied it and it was all you could read about.
Yeah.
So Moffat, because he's a rub with Hill, right? He's actually slow out of that corner. And Morgan's alongside him into the bomb hole, which is normally job done.
Yeah.
I have never seen someone effectively overtake around the outside of that corner. Or not the one that comes to mind. And he used a bit of curb I've never seen before. On the exit of the corner, there's clearly like a bit of grippy curb, and he was almost 4 wheels on that. And that gave him enough of a run. So he basically did like a NASCAR outside line pass, where he had the momentum on the exit. And I was like, wow. Amazing.
I seem to remember someone, I don't know if it happened, but
It probably has happened
somebody's
before.
done something similar back in the Plato Sayat days.
Right, okay.
I think him and Matt Neal were side by side through there, but obviously one of them ended up going flying, because that's what happens when those two attack.
My memory of
the only
that
time
one
I can remember seeing that.
was Neil was trying it, but Plato just turned in early and then they went through there sideways. If it was 2006 in the Leon. And then in 2007, there was one where Giovanardi got a run on Plato, and Plato just drove him onto the grass on the inside.
No. Plato wouldn't have done that. Come on now.
It's a mature Jason Plato these days who drives around in 20th and doesn't do anything, apparently. Which is unfortunate because, do you know when he was, don't call it a comeback? At Thruxton, he was getting feisty and he was calling Josh Cook swear words, right? And he said something like, I'm going to get him back. And in this race, did he just get overtaken by him and nothing happened?
Yeah, Cook went past the inside quite easily, and that was it.
There we go then.
Ah.
But yeah, Hill fell down to P14 and then way down. And I just think that's not normal tyre wear because no one else had it that bad.
No. Sutton had a big lead just flying away, but then right at the end, all of a sudden, Turkington was like right on his backside again.
That was
Which,
surprising.
I was like, oh, is there something wrong? He's got a problem? His tires went off? But Nick, you think he was just being careful?
Yeah. He said he was wary of the fact that Turkington apparently had a slow puncher at the end of the first race on the last lap.
I see.
But this was never confirmed. But yeah, he said he just slowed down to a point where he was just far enough in front of him.
It was like half a car length. So
Yeah.
he's got a hell of a lot of confidence to keep him behind at that.
Yeah.
And then
To be fair,
Ingram and Ollie Jackson had a real good fight for the last podium place.
Oh, yeah.
Ollie won.
Best part of the race, that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It was a good battle for a full lap, basically.
It was, yeah. They did duplicate moves on each other, it seemed, within a couple of corners.
Hmm.
Yeah, that's what we're going to see from touring cars. I think Jackson ran wide out of Riches onto the grass, did he?
Yes, yeah.
But then he fought back because round Palmer turn 3, Ingram got a snap of oversteer on entry. Jackson then got an overlap and was down on the inside into Agostini, the hairpin. So nice fighting spirit. I was a bit like Ollie Jackson's had a great weekend. He's driving better than ever. Last year was his breakthrough year, 2 wins, the second of which was here at Snetterton, the first at Silverstone. But here, last year, he did this amazing race where he didn't look in the mirror and he just drove every line perfectly and was really consistent. Here, he did make some unfortunate errors. Not just here where he ran wide he obviously fought that position back, which was great. But earlier in the race, and maybe race 1, he did run. He missed the apex at Wilson a few times at the second turn 2, and I just thought, oh, he did do that last year, so still good. But these little errors, you get punished in touring cars.
Yep, and then he makes a complete in our dog's dinner of race 3,
Ah, yes,
which we're about to come to.
yeah. Just want to look at some of the results. I don't know if you were going to shout anyone out, Colin, for race 2.
Go for it.
Oh well, Jack Goff in P9 in that Cooper again. Another good result for a new and proven car. And if you just think of where the Volkswagen CC was last year, you know, they were fighting for points. Points was like a victory. Now top 10 on race 2. It doesn't look that stable or particularly sharp. It kind of looks a bit cumbersome in the corners. But it's so early days that I'm going to predict that it gets a reverse grid win this year. How about that?
Yeah, I'd go with that.
Yeah. Because
At Croft.
At Croft. That's specific. Carl Baldy's going to win that one. Rear-wheel drive circuit, innit? No, it'd probably be Moffat, wouldn't it? Yeah, the thing with that was, I thought, hang about, it could be here because Jack Goff's first win was at Snetterton in the MG. I think it was race 3. And P9, I thought, here we go, Ashton's going to pull P9 out of the bag.
Yeah.
But it was P7, so Stephen Jelly and pole for the final race.
Yeah, it's been a while since we've had a low number on the reverse grid.
Yeah. It could have spiced things up more, but however, it was an interesting race 3. Would you agree?
Yeah.
Would you agree, Colin?
Yeah, it's probably the liveliest of the races.
Yep.
To be honest, I didn't. After watching them all one time round, I didn't remember anything happening in race 1, and then watching it back again, actually, quite a bit happened.
Yeah.
But race 3 was definitely the most action packed
Uncorked.
of the lot in the weekend.
Yeah.
So yeah, you're right. Jelly and Paul were all went Butcher and Ingram behind, and Jelly gets a decent start, but looks really nervous and is quite twitchy on all the brakes. He's not quite hitting any apex. He's just not a happy camper in front. I don't know whether he just didn't have his tyres switched on or if it was the pressure of being on front.
I think it's the latter.
It wasn't a good start for him, really.
No. Tell you who else didn't get a good start. You've already mentioned him for a bad start. Butcher. Slow away from the line again. He needs to get used to that. He's getting solid results now. At least he didn't crash into Border this time, but or the wall.
Yeah.
But yeah, he needs to work on the starts a bit.
Speaking of Bordley, he ends up off at whatever corner name it is.
In
Tom,
the middle
you
bit.
have the circuit map in the middle bit.
In the middle
through
bit.
the lap.
In between Hamilton and Oggies.
Yep, he ends up off. I think he gets a bump from behind, but we don't really see it on camera because the camera's focusing on Shedden and Cook
Yeah, that was
having
messy.
an incident. Yeah, Cook smashes Shedden, who's completely sideways off the track and manages to save it.
You see, I'm going to blame Shedden for that one.
He does turn in on him a bit.
It turns in before the
A bit.
corner. Before
Yeah.
the corner, and it's like,
Yeah. But so we didn't actually see what happened with Bordley.
It all bunches up, and you can just kind of see that he's on the left of the track, and he hits like a wheel arch and bumps up. But you don't know who it is. And they aim a spear across the track and not hit anyone. Very lucky. Do you remember when Plato rolled it there? In the MG, the white MG, he hit the barrier on the inside and it flipped. And I think that was because Newsham hit Neil in front and everyone slowed down. It could have been something like that, but in the end it was just a harmless spin. Didn't do much this weekend, actually, Bordley.
That was the
No,
first
he's
time I
kind of
remember seeing him.
Yeah.
Mid-pack the whole time, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Actually doing anything.
But yeah, back to Jelly making a mess of things at the front, I guess.
He walks up, going up to Augustine, I think, which means that Jelly hits the back of him.
Yeah,
No, apologise. He walks
the
up
hairpin.
early in the lap.
Yeah, the
which
hairpin
makes him a bit nervous,
Wilson.
so he breaks early. Yeah. He breaks early for Augustine, and which means that his teammate runs in the back
That's
yeah,
bad.
let Ingram passed
and all hell
Oliphant
breaks loose.
at that point.
Yeah.
And then
Round the
was that
outside.
where Ollie Jackson and Oliphant came together as well?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now Jackson hits the back of Oliphant, spins him out right. Now you're saying there's no penalty for that. I'm going to assume because you couldn't see it all on camera, like the Chiltern spin. But I would guess it's because Oliphant's going like 10 miles an hour slower than he would normally be around because of he's offline and he's just hit the back of Jelly or something weird.
Yeah.
But wrecked Oliphant's race. He had a solid weekend.
True.
He could have won that one.
Yeah, easily.
I can't imagine Dick Bennett's been happy in the pits because the two drivers have wrecked a good chance for two cars on the podium there.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Jelly probably should have let him go because he was not comfortable at all.
Yeah. Too nervous.
Yeah. So yeah, is it Ingram got past and all that, so he was up to second. And Jelly manages to keep the lead somehow.
Didn't see any of it as well, but I noticed
for a
that
while longer.
I think it was lap 3. Jake Hill had made 10 places. But yeah, didn't see any. It was just on
really?
the graphics. You know, it says how many places they've gone. Mm-hmm.
So the car was back on form. I would say as well, like, you know, when that Oliphant Jelly Ingram thing's happening.
Yeah.
It was really nice to hear the crowd.
Mm.
You can always hear them at that corner, and I don't know. I didn't see a picture of how many people were there. It's 4,000 total this weekend. How many people are allowed at football these days?
Hampden at the moment's about 12,000. I think for the semi-finals at Wembley in a few weeks it'll be 40,000.
So why are more people allowed in a football stadium when the racetrack is spread out? Hang on, hang on. Sorry, yeah.
Here we go. Because I don't know why, but somehow it's okay to be crammed into a theatre and things like that. But standing outside at a football match or a racetrack or anything outdoors where there's wind and probably fucking rain here.
Well, space as well for a racetrack. I mean, how long is Snetterton?
I know there's plenty of space for people, but for some reason that needs a capacity limit.
I don't know if they make any money for doing just 4,000 people. You've got to have toilets clean, catering on, car parks manned, stationed.
They probably don't
that's
make
not
any
cheap.
money, but it's good for the image, if nothing else.
Yeah, they just have to take a hit.
Yeah, yeah. What, 4,000 at what, £35 a ticket? Yeah, you're right. It probably helps a little, but it's not.
It's some revenue, isn't it? It pays
you're
the
covering
bills.
your costs. They put letting them in.
Yeah,
you're
probably.
right.
Yeah.
But it was good to see fans back because is it the first time touring cars has had fans?
Yeah.
I don't remember seeing any at all last year.
That's why there was a 5-week break between round 1 and round 2 because they thought they might have crowds in from this point on. Yeah. Now it might be a while till full crowds are allowed back in. We'll have to see.
Not Kills should be full because it's in August with our new Freedom date. So.
Whoa.
And apparently Silverstone's going to be full for the Grand Prix.
Interesting.
Yep, I received an email with my ticket this morning saying that there's been discussions between Silverstone and the DCMS, and they're going ahead as planned, which means full capacity, 100,000 people.
Wow.
Which is mad, but I'm glad because it means I can still go.
Nice. That is mad. Well, let's see if that happens. But
yeah, I'm still not counting on it, but at the moment it's happening.
Nice one.
But yeah, agree.
Yeah.
Capacity limits at a racetrack are a bit mad.
Yeah, don't understand it.
So back on track. I think where did we get to?
About lap 3.
Lap 3. Yep. Before we got off.
Shedden drives down Jackson for P6 on softs, and this is the start
Dead.
of Gordon Shedden not breaking for corners and smashing it in there and being the old Gordon Shedden.
I'm not having it for this one.
No, me neither, actually.
No. It was a good dive. He got it done. He was way past Ollie Jackson. And Jackson decides at the last second to turn into Shedden's rear wheel. Yeah. And then broke his own suspension.
Very lucky that Shedden's suspension's not broken.
Yeah, it was a mad... I don't know if he was trying to cut back underneath or what, but he either makes a complete mess of it or he just misjudges it. But he takes himself out of the race after a great weekend.
My initial thought, having only watched it once, was... I did apportion some blame to Shedden, actually, but I'll trust you both your judgments on that and rewatch
I take
it
as the fact that he turned into Shedden's rear wheel says to me.
Yeah, the move's already done.
It was quite a sudden turn as well. The only thing I can think of is what Colin said. He was trying to get a cut back and just
Mistimed it.
did it far too early.
Right. Fair enough. Weird to break the front suspension. You rarely see that,
Yeah.
right? Or steering.
Yeah, it normally is the rear wheels when that happens.
Yeah. Yeah. So lucky for Shedden, unlucky for Jax. Well, not unlucky if he's timed it wrong.
Hmm.
It's a shame because it's such a great weekend, and then he just he takes Elephant out on lap 2
Yeah,
or 3,
true.
and then takes himself out a couple of laps later.
Maybe that's why there's not a penalty actually, because he didn't finish the race. So what's the point?
Possibly, yeah.
Hmm.
All at the same corner as well.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He's not a fan of Agostini.
no. Ingram took the lead up the inside of Wilson, which was I thought was quite good, and then Sheridan tries to get past Sutton, but gets run out wide by Jelly because he kind of gets a bit too far ahead.
Mm-hmm.
Almost taken second, but
Yeah.
because he gets run out wide, Sutton keeps the place and manages to keep Shedden behind the full remainder of the race, which I thought was a bit of a surprise considering the weight difference in the cars.
For me, when Shedden gets past Jackson, I thought, oh, race win. Also,
Yeah, same.
Cook's following through as well. Cook must have had a great start along with Shedden.
Mhm.
They're both up there, aren't they?
He just stopped halfway through. He was going forward and then just it ended for him basically. I don't know.
I'm wondering if
Wait.
Was
his pace
he
went.
on the soft tyres at that point?
it was. Yes.
I think.
Yes, it was.
So I wonder if they just ran out of...
Him and
life.
Cook. Yeah, they must have done. I think Sutton did an amazing job to hold him off just to the point where the tyres started wearing out.
Mm.
I also noticed that when Sutton went past Jelly for P2, Shedden tried to follow through, right?
Yeah.
But it didn't quite work out. But Sutton's move was reminded me of Rosberg and Hamilton at the Red Bull Ring a little bit. You know, where he sort of just
Yeah.
didn't turn in.
Yeah.
I've got this, but I'm not turning in for a bit. But it was not in an idiot way. It was just clever again. I thought that was interesting. It just reminded me of that.
Yeah, and when Shedden was going past Jelly, I think a few corners after, he has a really unnecessary side swipe at him along the straight.
Mm.
Now was it
Bad.
Jelly or I thought it was Sutton? You're right, it was Jelly. That was bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was a bit naughty from Shedden. I've been defending him all
Yeah,
all day, but that one was a bit off, and he does get past them.
it's a straight
But-
line.
It's a straight line. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't really know why he did that. Maybe he sneezed. Who knows?
I wrote down here,
really
BS.
sharp. Yeah.
But then when he did get past, it was insane, right? He was backing it in like a MotoGP bike. The back was
Yeah.
swerving around. I thought, there's no way he's making that corner, but he did. So fair play.
Great on the brakes in the Honda. It was the same in the old car as well.
Yeah.
That's true. Although it's got to be a Shedden thing as well, right? Because I didn't see Neil and Camish do moves like this. And
No.
where it's snaking around and it's so last minute, it's like, whoa.
Yeah.
I'm wondering how he sets up the car. Maybe as a trick where he's adjusting the brake bias at the right time. I'm not sure.
I think as well he tends to commit to it very late as well, which probably
Yeah,
has some influence on it.
it's also one move that's very
Yeah.
deliberate, which must take some skill to get that timed right. It's just a shame that we didn't see that in World Touring cars in the second year, but that's a story for another time as well. I just thought Sutton did an amazing job to hold off Shedden at that point.
Yeah.
I've written down here, don't doubt his driving. He is the best.
Son.
Yeah, I'll give you that.
Yeah, Sutton.
Yeah. To hold a car with basically no weight on while you're on
Full.
full ballast.
Yeah, full.
It's, well done now. I think Cook got past Jelly in the end as well, didn't he? To take fourth.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
And I think,
He
to
did.
be honest, the way Jelly was driving, first few laps, he's lucky to finish fifth.
He is.
Yeah.
Could have been in the fence.
Surprised his front tyres weren't completely knackered after that lock up.
Yeah.
Mm.
That's a good point. Turkington was quiet
Yes.
in this one, but that's all he needed to do.
Yeah.
Yep, P7. Rowbottom got up to 10th. Hill recovered to 12th. And Jade Edwards got a point,
Mm-hmm.
coming in 15th.
Ah, yes. There's a fact about that, isn't there?
Go for it.
It's the first female since Fiona Leggett in Thruxton 2006 to score a point.
Well, long time, 15 years.
Yeah. To be fair, Fiona Leggett's ahead of her time.
Yeah, it was good for her to get in the points, I think, but she needs to do more still, and I think she will. It's only her second outing.
I
think she should be regularly visiting the points this season.
I agree with that. Yeah, let's hope she can get top 15s more often.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely.
I did
possibly even get in the top 12. So
yeah, the old balls in a bag. That's a terrible expression.
I thought I don't. It was never said. Did Senna Proctor have an issue because he ended
I was just going to say
2
that.
minutes behind in last?
I
But
didn't see it.
again, it wasn't shown on TV that he had an issue.
I didn't see anything. It was a similar thing with Moffat as well, wasn't there?
Yeah, he filled an order at the end to 17th,
Yeah,
but it
on the
wasn't
last
shown
lap.
again.
Yeah, weird. Not sure. But good old Jack Goffin, P9 again.
Mm.
2 P9s on the bounce there. Plus, where did he finish in race 1? 12. So that's actually a very consistent race weekend considering different tyre compounds.
Are you backing him for an outside title?
No.
charge here, Tom?
Just a reverse grid win.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Nice to see some Butcher get some points on the board in 3 races. It's a bit too late. It doesn't quite have the edge. I think Ingram has adapted to the Hyundai quicker than Butcher to the Toyota, if that's fair.
Well, first ever win for
Yeah.
Hyundai in this as well.
The good old i30N,
Your favourite car
my favourite car.
that you're trying to get rid of?
that I'm trying to sell. Yep.
So, if anyone wants one,
Yeah.
or if
Hey.
Tom, if you want a backup, there's one going.
Mine is available.
I quite like seeing Adam Morgan in the points all the way through as well.
Yeah, that's good.
I've said before, he seems to be the unluckiest driver in the world normally. He just
Yeah.
gets involved in everything, but this is a clean weekend for him.
I forgot before going into the season that he got into British Touring Cars by being the Ginetta G55 champion, which is rear-wheel drive. And Ginetta then had a prize drive, and he got to drive a year in the Toyota, right? So he can do rear-wheel drive. It's just been a long time. So, he should get wins this year in that.
He should. I can't even ever put my finger on it, but there's something I don't like about Adam Morgan. But I couldn't tell you what it is. It's just I never want to. Well, I never not want to see him do well, but I'm never rooting for him.
Right. Okay.
But I've no idea why that is.
He's not the underdog, but he's not the favourite. So he's just kind of
No,
there.
Did you not like his Mercedes that he had for about 5 years?
no, definitely not.
His
It
dad.
looked nice the first season, I think, but
Yeah. Oh, in the yellow and black livery, that was quite cool.
yeah,
Yeah. Wicks race. His dad used to rally a 190E Merc, which is like a 3 Series size saloon. It was quite cool. I was watching a lot of rally videos over lockdown. VHS Rallies, good YouTube channel. And then I saw this Sicily branded Mercedes rally, and I was like, well, that's got to be his dad. And then he did an interview, and it's like, okay, that's definitely his dad. Don't know where I was going with that. Jason Plato,
Driver. Yeah, go for it.
where did he finish?
In the championship or
This race.
This race he was 18th.
Oof.
yeah. Did he get a point all weekend? I don't think he did today.
Not in the top 15. He might have got some Indy points.
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't think he got in from race 2.
No, I don't think he got
definitely didn't in race
No,
one.
no.
No, Plato he was 20th in race 2. Yeah, nowhere.
it. So he has ballast going to the next qualifying session, but not a lot. So,
Yeah, he's 8th in the
yeah,
championship.
so he has to do better at the next round.
Fastest laps, race 1 was Tuckington, race 2 was Sutton, and race 3 was Shedden.
No, Josh Cook.
No,
Yeah.
Shambles.
Clean sweep last time.
Cook wasn't really anywhere this weekend.
Until the last race,
No.
yeah.
I thought it was a pretty bad weekend for the Hondas until Shedden kind of got there in race 3.
Yeah, it could be
Wasn't
track
really any of them
dependent.
anywhere.
It could be track
Yeah.
dependent.
Yeah,
Although he's quick in qualifying, but then the wing, yeah, you don't know, do you?
No. Driver standings at the end of this then. Sutton takes the lead, 80 points with Ingram 2 behind. Tuckington is 5 behind Sutton, with Cook 20 behind in fourth.
Ooh,
Hill, who was championship leader going into the weekend, ends up with 57 points.
Disaster.
So he's 23 behind now.
disaster. It's fine for now, but he can't have another. He has to be good every weekend now.
Yeah. Everyone in the top 10 now can't have, apart from the top 3, can't have a bad weekend.
Yeah. Now,
Mm-hmm.
interestingly, Shedden might be lighter than most championship rivals now for the rest of the year. It almost pays to have a bad start to the season, if that makes
Yeah.
sense, because you're not going to be leaping into first in the standings, unless a crazy fluke happens for at least the next 3 or 4 rounds. So you're always going to be lighter than championship leader in qualifying. You might not
He's
get
just got a
pole,
good chance of-
but
yeah,
it's
he's got a good chance of calling back race 1 results.
yeah. Basically, in theory, if everything goes to plan, he should out-qualify the championship leader every weekend going forward now.
Yeah, that's what you mean.
Does that make sense?
Championship favourite Gordon Shen. Our picks
Yeah.
back on, Nick.
I remember.
Yeah,
Ah, did you pick him?
we
Yeah, I
both did.
think-
Yeah,
Yeah, we both did.
Who did I say? Ingram.
I think I think you
Sutton.
might have said Sutton.
yeah, I think you did.
Damn, we'll have to listen back. But I feel like we
You-
both said Ingram might do okay, and he's second at the minute, so that's.
He is. He kept his nose relatively clean. He had a little couple of fights with Turkington, but got out of them unscathed.
Matt
Just
Neal.
very un-Tom Ingramish.
Matt Neal said in his pre-season preview with Paul O'Neill, which is on YouTube, that Ingram is not in a race-winning car this year.
Well,
Yeah, that
Comes
lasted a long time.
Now, that's harsh because I'm not going back to our predictions and saying that we could be completely wrong as well, but that was one that
Oh, yeah.
stuck out in my mind.
so he's won more races than Matt Neal's Hondas this year
Yeah.
so far.
Yeah.
Oof, that's embarrassing.
Yeah. Because Robottom was kind of anonymous at the bottom end of the points this weekend as well.
I think that's his natural speed at the minute. Normal speed, even. And I think Thruxton, there was a lot of attrition. I don't want to take anything away because he did some amazing overtakes around the outside there. But purely on speed, sort of between 10th and 15th is where we'll be for most of the year, is
Yeah,
my
I'd
prediction.
agree with that.
Yeah, he might get a reverse grid podium.
hmm Looking at the championship, actually, I just realised that the top 6 are all in different cars.
Oh, that's good. Isn't that great for this championship?
Yeah,
No, we did say something about this in the preview. That a load of good drivers are in different cars. Hill in the
Yeah.
Ford. Cook or Shedden in the Honda. Turkington in the BMW. Ingram in Hyundai. Sutton in the Infiniti. Butcher in the Toyota. Plato in the Vauxhall for one round so far. It's been good.
Yep.
Yeah, you're right. And that's what we'd like to see. What we don't like to see is tyre compounds. But
and the other thing to come out this weekend was some sort of controversy about the weight, where they were talking about the fact that Ash Sutton should not be able to hold off driver with no weight when he has full ballast, and that something is a bit amiss with the Infinity.
that said.
It was not in so many words. I don't mean they're saying they're doing anything illegal, but that something's not quite right about that.
Interesting. Oh, I love that. Well, I'm going to have to dig into the forums.
Ash Sutton even said we're actually not 75 kilos heavier than Shedden. We was 100 kilos heavier because we have rear-wheel drive ballast as well.
Oh, but that applies to the BMWs as well, I think, doesn't it?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
But that makes it
Interesting.
worse in a way. He's
Yeah.
saying that they're over 100 kilos heavier than that car.
Ah,
and he
yeah.
can still hold him behind him.
My counter argument to that is Shedden's done a million incredible late braking manoeuvres on the soft tyres to this point. We saw how some other cars throughout the weekend, last 3 laps on the soft tyre was difficult, like Turkin's supposed puncture,
Yeah.
Sutton slowing down to save the tyres. All right, Jake Hill, we think might be some damage induced there. So I think if they're on the same tyre, that's a fair debate, but they weren't, so it's not. Because at that point, the wear rates will be completely different.
Mhm.
So they're saying like soft tyre at the start of the race
Yes.
would be there. He passed. I'm pretty sure he passed other Infinities to get to that.
Yeah, I think he would have gone past Moffat at some point.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think if anything, it actually just adds weight to the argument that they should have had their ballast increased as they did this year. from 60 to 75 for the max ballast.
That's a fair point. I'm not annoyed by that. I was before the season, but now it's fine.
Yeah, because they do seem to carry the weight so much better than they used to.
Yeah, the BMWs always carried the weight too well as well.
Now I think as well though that especially for the BMW, that they've done so much testing with different ballast weights over so many years that they'll have a setup for right. Is it warm? And we've got this much ballast, and we're on this much tyre. Go. Some other teams like Team Hard won't have that for the Cooper at all.
No.
But it's probably raised an eyebrow for Sutton as well as how stuck he was in race 1, but then race 3 had a lot more pace in the car. But again, I don't think you can really judge that too well.
At the end of the day, he's only 2 points ahead of Ingram and 5 points ahead of Turkington.
Yeah.
It's not.
Yeah, we'll know at the next round if there is something up. If all of a sudden he's still flying with full ballast on again.
Yeah.
Yeah. What is the next round, Colin?
It's Brand Hatch Indy.
That's weird, isn't it?
And 26th to 27th
Yeah.
of June. It's only 2 weeks away.
Brands Hatch Indy is a mid-season race. Is just a bit weird.
I know.
But I guess we'll
When
find
does
out.
usually be, because last year obviously it was the last round, which was just really weird.
That's even weirder, to be fair. Yeah.
It's normally the first round, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Yeah.
Or traditionally
yeah.
has been.
And I like it as a first round because
Yeah.
generally, not everybody's quite prepared. Not everybody's done testing. So the field can be spread out at round 1. But Brands Hatch Indy makes sure that it's close anyway.
Yeah.
So now it's going to be a bit weird to see. Well, it might be wet again, but if it's dry and teams have got up to speed, will it provide any racing? Because normally it's first race of the season, you have everybody like spearing off into the barrier, which we had at Thruxton this time round.
Yeah.
Because everyone's getting back in the swing of things. I'm sceptical as if it will actually provide good racing. Now people have got a few races under their belt, but we'll see, won't we?
Yeah. And it'd actually be quite weird to have a Brands Hatch Indy race without Matt Neal diving up the inside of
The final corner.
is it McLean's, or have I made that up? Or is that a different corner? But you know the corner I mean.
I know the corner you mean. I'm going to have to do a live Google.
Yeah, because it's not the final corner, is it? Because that has its own name from
True.
The full track.
Yeah.
It's
Clearways.
That's it.
Clark Kerr follows it, and McLaren is before it. How about that?
Yeah, so I was totally off with my corner name.
So you combined a few corner names.
What did you
in
say?
You said there.
I said McLean's.
Ah, no, there is a corner on some track called that, isn't there?
Yeah,
Is it
I've got a
Donington?
feeling it's not even. Yeah, it's not even a brand.
I think earlier as well I said, oh, it's 2020. Well, when 2021.
Yeah.
Could be wrong on
It's,
that.
you're right, McLean's is Donington.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Question for you, because I was watching old videos the other day. When was the last time they used the big track at Donington?
Ooh.
Super touring.
Do you think?
But
I feel like they used it in 2001.
well, it's not even that much of a different track, is it? It's just adding the hairpin in.
The Dunlop Loop.
Is that one?
Is that what they call it?
Yeah.
Right. I'm gonna. No, they used it in 2004. At least. Because there was a title showdown between Muller and Thompson, I'm sure. But anyway, we could Google it,
Possibly.
but that's my answer. Do you have the answer, Colin?
Yeah.
I don't actually have the answer. It was a genuine question. It wasn't a quiz this week.
Ah, okay.
It was a genuine question.
Right.
Yeah, it doesn't really add anything, I never thought, to that track.
No.
Nah. No, not a fan. I once worked for a company that was like, oh, we're going to sponsor part of Donington for racing. I was like, oh, that's cool. Where are you going to sponsor it? Oh, at the hairpin that no one uses. Brilliant. I think World Superbikes use it, but that's it.
I think British GT use it.
Ah, do they?
Possibly.
Fair enough.
But it's not like anyone watches British GT anyway to...
Well, the crowd will be 2-3 times more for British touring cars
yeah.
if you want to get eyeballs on your sponsorship.
Mm.
Also, if you sponsor any other part of the track, you're guaranteed coverage regardless of what's going on.
Yeah.
So I hope they got it cheap.
Yeah. So yeah, Brands Hatch Indy next, and then there's another big long break, 4 weeks before we're at Alton Park.
Mm-hmm.
And
Which should
then-
guarantee a full crowd, hopefully.
Ah.
Yes, 31st of July. I'll be after 19th of July, I think, it's
Mhm.
unlocked date now.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you're right, full packed house for there.
That'd be good. It's always a good event. I've never been, and I'd like to go. I wonder if I'm free. Because
And then after that, we're at Knock Hill.
Yay.
It's everyone's
Whoop, whoop.
favourite.
what? Someone
There
was saying the other
one
day that they're
random
not a fan.
thing.
Oh, go on, Nick.
No, go on, Tom.
I finished. So I can't remember. Someone said the other day, "Oh, I'm not a fan of Knock Hill." I was trying to think, who was that? Anyway, random fact.
Some fool. No, not a random fact as such. Just I noticed during the coverage that there's a red phone box on the pit straight, and I've never noticed it before.
Is there really?
Yeah. Not actually on the pit straight. That would be stupid. But I should say next to the pit straight.
Oh, did
on
Hunter
the
Abbott not wipe it
outside.
out?
Yeah, it's probably around where.
Is it?
The person that I got totally wrong last time when I said Coronation Street actor, but I believe was Emmerdale,
Emmerdale.
where he rolled it.
Calvin Fletcher. No, but wasn't it Hunter Abbott that rolled it? Or did Calvin Fletcher roll it? They were both in the same car, right?
Yeah.
Probably both did, yeah.
Someone's selling a print of the Snetterton phone box for 40 quid. So,
Ah!
you're right.
Yeah, I just
Well-
randomly saw it, and I was wondering, does it actually work, or is it there just as a decorative thing?
Well, I'm going to have to Google this now. Because
Yep.
all I know is about Stetson. They used to have that tree that looked like a person, but I don't think that's there anymore, right? That had a name for
What a
it as well,
thing.
didn't it?
I think this one's like level with the start.
Oh,
finish line,
yeah.
almost.
Framed photos, Stetson phone box. That is weird.
40 quid for an A1 poster.
The thing is, I assume that's been there for God knows how long, but I've never noticed it before.
That is a good shout. Possibly shows that the race one was not that interesting.
Mm, to be fair, I did see it in the build-up.
Yeah.
Ah, okay.
And Nick, you watched every single support race, I think.
I did. I can't remember much of them, but I watched the entire day in one sitting.
Did you really?
Live.
Wow. That's a commitment there. That's like a full 8 hours.
Yeah. It also meant I didn't bother watching the England match. I just couldn't be asked to change channel.
I don't think you missed much there. But we're not talking
No,
about
I just
football.
watched the highlights. But yeah, it was quite interesting. Some of the Janettas were very good, and so was the Minis.
Are they okay this year?
Yeah. Yeah, the problem was I had it on, but I wasn't fully paying attention to the sport races. But there was some good moves going on. The Minis were really good, and the Janettas in particular had some good stuff going on.
Nice one.
A name that I've actually spotted for quite a while
Oh,
was Kian Jewis, who was in the juniors a few years ago and then progressed on to the Formula 4.
right.
And I had him as an outside tip for being a future potential F1.
Lando
Driver.
Norris style.
Yes,
Mm.
but he's actually come back to Janettas.
Ah,
Because I don't think he was able to. He's been in F3 for the last couple of years, but I don't think he was able to fund a drive in open wheelers anymore.
So Janetta Juniors.
No, the Janetta,
The GT one.
whatever they are now.
Yeah,
The GT5s, is it?
I think so.
And yeah, he won.
What's it called? Sorry.
Kian Jewis. It's
Kian
Kiern.
Jewish. I'll keep my eyes
I
peeled.
believe.
You heard it here
But yeah,
first.
I just think he's a really exciting talent.
Have you ever thought about a driver management career, Nick? Talent
No,
spotter.
it's just certain drivers just stand out. Like
Yeah.
Ash Sutton when he was in Clio's, you could just tell.
Yeah, he was good in Cleos.
going to be good.
Yeah, he was good in Cleos.
Tom Ingram when he was in Janetta Juniors, he was class above everyone else.
Mhm.
And Lando in Janetta Juniors as well.
Yeah, I remember that. And just quickly on Ash Sutton, I didn't realise that he had a career pause in the middle of all that because he had a road accident.
Yeah, no, I never knew that at the time.
And it came up on one of the interviews, didn't it? Was it
Mm.
this round or the last one? Anyway,
I think it was the last one.
I think Dan Cameron, I think, won a race in the
Mhm.
Porsches this weekend.
yes, that's
I
good.
think I don't think he won it on track. I think there might be a penalty, but I did see that he
Yes.
did win. I didn't see much of sport races either. I've seen a bit of the British Formula 4, where
Mm.
I think one driver ended up going away through the fields, through the crops,
really?
and just disappeared
Oh, yes, just
out of
vanished.
view. Yeah, it just vanished out of view.
Yeah,
Lost
that's
forever.
something you only see in the British support cars.
Mhm.
Yeah, yeah, it just
Just-
disappears.
There's wheat fields and things that people just fly into.
Yeah. Um,
Is it Croft as well where that happens?
Yeah.
Is it Tower?
Not sure, but yeah, there's no barrier. You just go into a big field.
Yeah. You just-
It used to be like that at turn 1 at Snetterton, but there's a barrier there now and stuff.
oh yeah.
Yeah, at least for part of it. Like after the apex, you can spear off into a field still, right? But it used to be if you went straight on at turn 1, you could end up in some crops.
Yeah. It's mad but funny.
It's kind of a and also at Croft there's a bloody ploughed field which flipped Bobby Thompson.
mm.
Oh yeah, cool.
That's not that needs to change for next year. At least put some gravel in there or something. Bloody potato
What
field.
Yeah, what are they planting on a racetrack? And surely it gets ruined at some point during the year.
It's weird. It's like
Good
as if
point.
no one's ever gone off there.
So it's like the most stubborn farmer ever. I'm not fucking moving.
Oh dear.
Yeah.
Anything else from the weekend you want
I think that was pretty much it
to
for me.
talk about?
All good from me. It was just good to
So-
watch the touring cars.
Hmm.
Yeah, it feels like the start of another season, being
Weird.
5 weeks off
Yeah, weird.
Mm.
from the first one. And then, of course, this weekend, F1 is back at Paul Ricard.
Yeah,
For the
there's a lot
French
going
Grand
on for
Prix.
that as well, isn't there? With the whole Pirelli tyre issue.
Yeah, so it turns out it wasn't debris, shock, that burst the two tyres at Azerbaijan. It was just tyre failure. So Pirelli have updated their pressure guidance and checking procedures. Even though
Yeah.
they say everyone followed the guidance the last time, it was also
It's
wrong.
a very strangely worded press release, wasn't it? It's they basically blamed the teams
It was
without actually saying it.
yeah, did they? Yeah, it was quite
And then
deliberately obscure, wasn't it?
And
Yeah.
then the team said that they followed all the guidance.
Yes, there was an interesting article today. I was reading about it, where it's more to do with what the teams can do to get around them without breaking any rules. To do with heating the tyres and then letting them cool, to get the pressures down after they've been checked.
Right.
So when they're checked, they're at the right pressures, but once they go out onto the track, they can be much lower than they're supposed to be,
Interesting.
which is in the rules. There's nothing to stop them from doing that,
Right.
but there is now.
Ah.
So now, after qualifying and the races, tyre pressures will be checked afterwards as well as before.
I see.
So they're going to have to run at a higher pressure than they would like.
Yeah, so as they can't then run them at lower pressures during the race and then get away with it because they still had to be checked afterwards. And they're not allowed to touch the tyre to reinflate them. Reinflate them or anything like that.
That's going to be a big change to the way the teams operate.
It is.
That is quite a drastic change. What website was it on?
You might have heard of it. It's motorsport.com.
Oh, it's a good website, that. Yeah. Some
Yeah.
good esports writing on there.
Yeah. But yeah, it was.
Nice.
It's quite a long article actually.
Right, I'll give
There's
it a read.
lots of different things on there. And also for next season, I believe that they have to then do something totally different. But that was already coming into effect. I think that was to do with monitoring it.
Interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure Pirelli can get the tyre pressures in the race.
Apparently not. Apparently they
that's-
can get the tyre pressures. The teams can see the tyre pressures, but it's not reliable information.
Ah,
So
right.
it's
Okay,
in-
so they're claiming that the sensors that they see aren't accurate enough to
Yeah.
allow them to see. Fair enough.
hmm
But it'll be interesting to see if that impacts in any of the actual race performances.
One of the things they're not allowed to do from France onwards is they're not allowed to take the tyre blankets off more than 30 seconds before the car is due to leave the pits.
Oh, so you've got to keep. How are they going to measure that though?
They said that there has to be a valid reason for them to come off, but I'm not sure. He's going to have to
Wanting
be
to
somebody
go
watching
out.
all the pits.
Yeah,
Yeah.
timing it.
Because apparently what
Ooh,
they
that was
do is
29
they-
seconds.
Yeah, they get the tyres as hot as they can get them in the tyre blankets, and then they take the tyre blankets off before they're ready to go out to let them cool down, which then lets the tyre pressure come down.
Oh, I see.
So they're saying that they have to leave them in the blankets until they're ready to leave.
Right.
They're
Sounds.
also stopped. Sorry, they're also stopped as well this season, I think it was, or possibly a season or two ago. They would put a limit on the tyre blanket temperature
All right.
because the teams were apparently running them really, really hot. So as when they came off, the sudden change in temperature brought the tyre pressure down. So they had a maximum limit put on the temperature.
The teams will find a way around it. They
Yeah.
always
Yeah.
do.
They
They'll
do.
find a way to get them down again. Someone will develop a method of getting more pressure back into tires before they can
Mhm.
check them. Somebody will get around it.
It is weird how
Because I think
it was an Azerbaijan one is when all these things cropped up there, right?
It's just because of the tyre failures. So that's all that's brought it to light. But as I say, a lot of this
Yeah,
was due to happen next year, but it's been brought forward.
But there was no tyre failures in the other races, right?
No.
So it's very odd how that track has brought the worst out of the tyres, if that makes sense.
hmm
And
Yeah, I think Red Bull in particular have been not had a finger pointed at them, but it's been insinuated that they're doing a bit more.
Yep.
Hamilton said something about in Spain that the teams were told to leave their tyre blankets on, but Red Bull took theirs off way before anyone else's.
oh, interesting.
But
You never know, though.
no, but you could see possibly a lot of warnings or penalties coming about in France because of this.
Yeah. Gonna have to watch
Anyth-
closely.
anything to spice up the French Grand Prix will be welcome.
Exactly, yeah.
If it's just talking about tyres and penalties, that's probably. Unlike British touring cars, it's not a distraction; it's an addition.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It's either at Power Card or after Power Card, and your round tests are coming in as well.
I think it's for it. I'm not
yeah,
sure.
All cracking
So-
off in Rule Land.
that'll kick
Yeah.
off as well. Esteban Ocon signed a new contract till 2024.
That surprised me.
Ah, yes.
Surprised me as well.
I thought Gasly. I suppose
Well,
if you are doing better or quicker or can match a two-time world champion, it's good. But
I still say Gasly will replace Alonso. Not next season, season
oh
after.
yeah, that's right. You did say that, and I can't disagree with it.
It does put the spotlight on Alonso to perform next year now,
hmm
because he's the one without a contract.
Yeah, isn't that bizarre?
Yeah,
Those are the breaks.
those are the breaks. What else we're going on the weekend? Roman Grosjean's test being cancelled.
Shame that.
So
Makes sense.
Oh, has it? I didn't see that. bit.
Postponed.
yeah, it's been postponed because of
Oh,
quarantine
no, sorry, I
issues.
did, yes.
So I think he would have to quarantine if he flew back from the States
Yeah.
or wherever it is at the moment.
Hopefully they can reorganise
Imagine
it.
it'll be the States.
Mm.
Did you see he was actually
And,
a firefighter that the weekend?
Yeah,
Yeah.
And really, like, angry about it. He
yeah.
had to be, like, forced away from the car, didn't he?
Mm.
Oh, yeah, poor Roman. I think the Americans love him now.
Yeah, well,
They love a
it's quick.
story like that, don't they, as well?
Yeah, anything that he does is plastered all over every bit of social media.
Well,
that can.
I think Netflix helps with that.
Yeah.
Very true.
And they love a story. And it's quick. If you're quick, they can be like, oh, yeah, he's resurgent. He's coming back.
Mm.
If he was just driving around at the back, like Jimmy Johnson is, I don't think anyone would really care.
He's always been a quick driver, to be fair.
Yeah, he has. He has.
When he had a fast car, he was
Mhm.
potential race winner.
Lotus days.
hmm
Yeah, he was just not a very good racer, which
No.
cost him in his early years. And then there's dual rumours going into the weekend. One rumour strongly suggests that Bottas is going to get a contract renewal in the next 3 or 4 weeks.
Bottas is.
And yeah, and then
Oh.
the other very strong rumour is that George Russell has been told that he's getting the seat for next year. So there is competing rumours which are, according to sources, as all these journalists say, are very strong. So one journalist is saying one thing, the other journalist is saying another, and they're both saying that their sources are rock solid. So
Well, what do you think?
I'd love to see Russell get that drive.
I think Russell will get it unless Bottas pulls out in the next 2 or 3 races, some basically wins.
So I think Bottas is a number 2 is the problem, and he's very good number 2, but he's not going to win championships, and I think he's had his chance to prove that. So Russell should get it. That's my view.
Mercedes want a number 2.
Yeah,
but
problem
at the
is
minute,
this year he's not been a very good number 2.
Exactly
that's true.
Exactly that.
Yeah.
Either way, I don't think Russell will be at Williams next year.
No, and I think Williams have replaced their team principal. So Simon.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, interesting that.
Simon Rainey.
Just Capito is now the
Simon Roberts.
Simon Roberts.
Apologies. Yeah, he's gone.
Mm-hmm.
Just came about out of the blue. And I think they've said they'll be open to discussions about their driver lineup next year. Which hints that they basically saying we would be open to taking Bottas back if you want to take George.
Oh,
off our
that's
hands.
exactly what it'll be. Yeah, there you go. I was thinking for a minute, would they ever switch Latifi, but there's some back in there, isn't there, and stuff.
There's quite a lot of back in there, I think, wasn't there? And is his dad? Oh no, doesn't his dad own part of McLaren?
Oh,
Latifi.
that's a curveball. Not sure about that. Sorry.
Oh, yeah. I think I want to say it's either. I thought it was either McLaren or Aston Martin, and I'm pretty sure it's McLaren.
Right, that's bizarre. He's not getting in those seats anytime soon, though.
Yeah, you're right.
Oh,
It was
no.
McLaren. He's a major investor in McLaren.
Good, fun fact.
That's it.
He's not making much
Yeah, I
money.
don't think that's to do anything with his son.
Right.
I think that's just he's interested in motorsport.
Yeah,
Yeah,
is it
and
in the
he's-
car
he's-
company as well, or just the F1 team?
Yeah, I think it's the McLaren group rather than the team.
Well, he's not making money on
Yeah.
that investment at the minute.
204 million they've put in.
Well, he's probably worth about 100 million now.
Yeah, and his son is definitely not getting a McLaren seat, so
No.
we can rule that out in the future.
Although McLaren is going to Extreme E, which is a bit random. I
Hmm.
don't know if you saw that. Oh, this is turned into a motorsport podcast all of a sudden.
Yeah.
I do think it's weird, but they've got to have a finger in each pie, I think.
Yeah,
I think as
well,
long as it doesn't impinge the Formula One team, which I don't think it is. I think
Nah.
it's separate.
It
things,
might even
isn't
just
it?
be a branding thing, and they have like
Yeah.
someone like ProDrive running it or something. I don't know. They're clearly in it because there must be some sponsor money swirling around in the save the world aspect. Although they've had to cancel 2 rounds, haven't they?
I hope that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because of
they have.
COVID. So we'll see how. I think their end of season's up in the air.
yeah, I think F1 will be the same
Oh yeah.
this year as well. I think there's a lot more disruption coming.
So
Yeah.
we'll see how the
Sadly.
F21 game live season join thing feature works when
Yeah.
the calendars change. Unfortunately.
This was not the season to introduce it, was it?
Yeah, unfortunately not.
No, that's a shame. But Brands Hatch next.
Oh yeah.
We'll be back with Paul Ricardo this weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Any quick predictions for that? Do you think Mercedes will be back on form or Red Bull keep going?
Ooh.
Tom?
I don't. Oh, thanks. I don't know. Which is a good thing, isn't it? For the
Yeah.
whole sport. Not a clue. I'm going to say Hamilton fight back. Hamilton for the win.
Yeah, I think Mercedes will be the team to beat, but it will be close between them again.
Yeah.
Ferrari will drop back.
Because of their lack of straight line.
Well, that and just I think the street circuits have
Right. Good braking and stuff.
yeah, they've made them look better than they actually are.
What do you think, Colin?
I think probably Max will still win. But I'm interested to see the rear wing changes, how much it actually affects them.
I'm going to say
And-
nothing happens with that.
No.
Yeah,
How about that? I think it will change, but it'll be minimal.
Yeah.
Like Das.
Yeah,
but
I
also
don't.
the tyre issues as well. Actually, if what they say about Red Bull is true, that they're a team that was exploiting it more than others, might affect them more.
Could
we
just
don't
be
know.
could just be hype. That get the clicks.
Exactly, yeah.
Yep. So I'm looking forward to it. I might get to watch Friday practice tomorrow. So we'll get some answers then, hopefully, and hopefully we'll get some clarity on the Mercedes lineup soon. I know George Russell has said he wants his future sorted out by the middle of the summer, so he's pushing on his end.
Are you in the future, Colin?
Yeah, no, I thought that as well. I was going to let it go.
For Friday practice?
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's 10 past 10 and I'm not going to edit this tonight.
Oh, you are self-editing.
It will be coming out. This podcast will be released either Friday morning or Thursday evening.
Well done, clever.
It's quarter past 10 and I have 3/4 of a pint still to finish to drink it. So
yeah, no chance.
I am in the future for this.
Nice one.
So,
cool.
Yeah. No, don't like this track, but it's F1. I'm always excited for F1.
Yep. Same.
Yeah. Just had to bring my sunglasses for the bloody curbs.
Oh. I don't know why it annoys me so much, that track, just watching it. Why have you painted all those bloody lines? Just why?
It gives extra grip or something.
Yeah, the red is more aggressive and is meant to slow cars down more.
Although when it's wet, I swear cars just slide even more on it. But I could be wrong on there.
Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah.
Just without describing the roughness of paint any further.
Yep, let's go.
I think that'll wrap us up this week. God, we've gone long for a weekend episode. Not a lot happened in the touring cars. But thanks for joining me again. This was a good one. And it was actually a decent race at Snetterton in the end. And we'll be back next week with it is the French Grand Prix. It's not a funny name, isn't it?
I think so.
Oh, you've sprung it upon us. And I do normally look, it is our raison d'etre to look up that. There's a bit of French for you. It's a pad for time. It's the Emirates Grand Prix de France. Yep, so straightforward.
Yeah,
sorry.
Close enough.
French Grand Prix.
Yep.
Doesn't have a mad, funny European name or whatever. So yeah, we'll see you then after that. And hopefully it won't be too bad.
Nice one. Thanks.
Yeah, thanks very much.
Like, subscribe, comment, share.